All right. So I will bring the document. I will share the screen with you guys and bring the document, and then we go from there. This is the document. Now, this is Rumi poem 182 from Divan Shams. Now, for the ones who are not familiar with Rumi works, he has three major works. Divan Shams, which is this poem from, which is our lovely poems uh, that he made, and mostly it's directed to God, and and it has his teachings in it, but it's lovely poems. Then the second book is Masnavi, which is in six books. It's a volume. It's a lot of material in it. Six books, and it is his teachings. It's his teaching, uh, and we're going to have a lot of stuff from that from Masnavi. We bring it to explain these poems. And the third book is Fihe Mafi in Arab in it's his original name, which means it is what it is. And there is some quotes from there, not much. Uh, this the Fihe Mafi is what is Rumi's sermons when he was do, lecturing and doing sermons in Zekrs, which is the gathering they had, all the Sufis they had together, and he would speak a little bit at the beginning, and some of his uh, 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 students wrote this, and that's how it came into being. So this is the poem. I read the Farsi and they read the English after I read the Farsi. در میان عاشقان عاقل مبا خاصه در عشق چنین شیرین لقا. I hope among lovers there is no worldly intelligent ones. عاقل means worldly intelligent ones. That's how I translate it. Especially in the love of such a sweet face that we would like to visit. So in this poem, Rumi tells us there is two type of people. There are the lovers and the worldly intelligent ones. And secondly, we are here for a purpose, which is to visit a sweet face. To visit a sweet face, right? Second verse. دور بادا عاقلان از عاشقان دور بادا بوی گلخن از صبا. I hope the lovers stay away from the worldly intelligent one. I hope the odor of dirty mud stay away from the fragrance of the morning breeze. So here, uh, uh, Rumi resembles the word intelligent ones to the dirty mud, and the lovers to the fragrance of the morning breeze. And the stinking mud, this comes from Quran. This is God says we are made up of stinking mud and God's spirit. گر درآید عاقلی گر درآید عاقلی گو راه نیست ور درآید عاشقی صد مرحبا. And he says here, if a worldly intelligent wants to come in, tell him, don't come in. If comes a lover, tells him you are very, very welcome. So do not allow the worldly intelligent ones to your gatherings. That's what Rumi says. And if a lover wants to come, accept him with open arms and say, you're welcome to come to our meeting, to our gatherings. عقل تا تدبیر و اندیشه کند. One of the individuals, let me see. Sorry. Erika is coming. Okay, hello Erika, welcome to our gallery.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so
Well,
much.
you're welcome, ma'am. And we're reading the poem, Erika. This is poem number 182 from Divan Shams. عقل تا تدبیر و اندیشه کند رفته باشد عشق تا هفتم سما. As soon as intelligence finds a worldly way, love goes to the heavens. So Rumi here, he tells us that if the worldly intelligence wants to find a way to go to uh, salvation, uh, lover, and love goes right away, instantly gets to salvation. So because the, and the reason is, as he mentions here, because the intelligent ones, the smart ones, the clever ones are looking for a way. But Rumi says here and other places that the salvation, there is no way for it. You don't look for a way. It's for the worldly matters we look for a way, for a vehicle, for a mean to an end. But he says, no, no, for love and for salvation, there is no mean or way or vehicle. You just get there. You get there because you don't go there really. Life gets you there. عقل تا جوید شطور از بحر حج رفته باشد عشق بر کوه صفا. As soon as intelligence looks for a vehicle, for a mean to go to pilgrimage, love has conquered the summit of mountain of purity. This is the same thing, but he says it differently. Rumi is a poet, and poets love to elaborate. He elaborates, right? He says it in a different way for us to understand. He wants to make sure we get it. عشق آمد این دهانم را گرفت که گذر از شعر و بر شعرا برا. Love came and shut my mouth and told me to forget about poem and come to heaven. Now, this is the style of Rumi. In a lot of his poems, when he speaks a little bit, he stops himself. He says, "You talk too much. Words bringing me to the mind. Word bringing me to illusion. I don't want to come to illusion. I don't want to come to this world. I want to be on the other side." So that's why he stops himself and says, "Forget about the poem. Let's go to heaven. Let's go to heaven. Let's not waste our time with words." That's what he says here. Now, uh, we already have done this work, this poem. So if you want to, there's only 3 programs already on this poem on the internet. On the And if you're a member, I will send you the link. So if you want to go back uh, uh, and review the previous programs, you can do so. So we have to go to the place we stopped last time. But every time I go through some exhibits, because I think these exhibits are very helpful to all of us, and that's why I go through this. This is an exhibit, and I'm sorry, I did it with my handwriting, and it's not good, but I read it for you guys. This is how did egoic mind come into being. Egoic mind is ego, the same thing, because ego is a mind matter. It's in our mind. It's a mind. It's a mind matter. That's what we say egoic mind, which is ego, the same thing. Now, this is my father taught me this. This is egoic mind, and this is how it works. We say this is the Sufis say that, and my dad didn't make it. He took it from the other Sufis, but he made it his own. Uh, he says God spirit plus human being made up of soil and stinking mud. The combination of these two makes us human being. This is not literal. This is symbolic. Okay, don't take it literally, please. Take it symbolically. It has a meaning in it. It wants us to understand a concept. The concept that we are made of God's spirit plus stinking mud, soil. So this is the two extremes of us as human beings. We can be God's spirit, go high, the highest, and the lowest. And that's the challenge. That's why we, all of us, all human beings, are in a tension, right? Tension between two extremes. One force wants me to bring me down to the lowest of the low. Another force to takes me up to the highest of the high. We are here to go to the highest of the high. That's why we are here. We're trying to go high and up and up and up. So that's us. Now, after the human being was made, 2 attributes came out of it. One is soul, the other one is egoic mind or ego. What is egoic mind or ego? It's mine, I, my name, my belongings, and my identity. Everything which has an I and my in it, mine and my, it is egoic mind. It's ego. The other side is soul or the spirit, which is the highest of highs. Okay, so these two came out of it. Now, out of egoic mind, we have two attributes again. We have lost, which is lost for everything, lost for everything and pursuing likes. That's the basically meaning of lost in this form. Lost is pursuing likes. And the other side is anger, which is rejecting dislikes. So we are, so out of egoic mind, it came lust and anger. Lust is to pursue likes, and anger is to reject dislikes. And Sufis said want us to have these two in moderation. You can keep your lust and anger in moderation. That's what they're saying. Okay. Any question on this one, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we go on there? All right. So now let's go to another exhibit, which I think is helpful for all of us. And this is the circle of nothingness. This is when before we were born, there was nothing in our core, nothing. So the sense of security, the guidance, the power, and the intelligence and intellect came from nothing, came from the source, the core, which is nothing in it, right? And when we say nothing, means that it's it's all spirit, because a spirit is not is out of the things, which we'll see in the next one now. Look at the next one now. So you know what I mean. This exhibit is a circle of identification. And that's what is when we come to the world, gradually we bring some stuff, some things to our core, which is like everything that I can think of, myself, my spouse, the rest of my family, money, everything that I value, professions, social status, roles, hobbies, entertainment, friend, enemy, religious belief. That's the thing. Political and social belief. These are things. These are not life. This is not a life matters. These are things. So we bring this into our core, the family, the surrounding, the society. They tell us, hey, you got to have this thing at your core to be successful, to be good, to be ahead. So we get our sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, intellect from these things which is in our core, right? Now, next is circle of nothingness. This is what we are supposed to do now. So we came before we came, nothing here. We came to the world, we put this stuff in our core. Now, our goal is to push these stuff which are in the middle to the outside, to the outside. So we still have nothingness in our core. Sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, and intellect come from nothing. And all these attributes, which were things as we mentioned, goes outside. It is still there. I need money, yes. I have to have a job, yes. I have a spouse, yes. I have friends, hobbies, this and that. Yes, I do. But it's not in my core anymore. It was pushed outside. That's the key. Pushed outside. They don't control me anymore. Okay, this is what the goal is. Now, another exhibit which I'd like to share with you is right here coming up. Okay, we did this on the other previous, and you can go and look at it on YouTube. All right, this is the triangle of change. In order to change, what is change? To to move the stuff and things from our core to the outside. What we are supposed to do? This is from Rumi. We have to have commitment. We have to be committed to change. That's the first thing that we have to obtain. We have to have, right? To commit to study Rumi, to read his poems, to do what he tells us to do. Consistency, that's the key. We have to be consistent. I see people come to this meeting, never show up again. One time, gone. That's not gonna help you. If you wanna if you wanna succeed in this matter and change, you have to uh, go to these meetings. Now, I'm not saying come to me. Anybody, there are good people out there. Anybody, but you have to go. You have to be there. You have to be consistent. Repetition. That's the key. You don't. In spirituality, repetition is good. It's in everything, if you don't repeat, you don't get it, right? I mean, how did you learn the language? By repeating. So this is repeating. So we have to repeat. So with which we do this thing, commitment, consistency, and repetition, we can accomplish the goal of pushing everything out. These dots outside, those are the things which we were in our core. We got sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, and intellect from them. Now it's out. Now it doesn't control us, right? It exists, but it's not controlling us. So if it doesn't say you shouldn't have money, you shouldn't have power, you shouldn't have a job, no, it says don't let it control you. Push it outside. Don't put it in your core. It it doesn't deserve to be in our core. It don't deserve. I'm a king, and I put money in my core. You're a queen. You want to put money in your core? That's shame. That's shame, really. That's what Rumi says, by the way. This is the attachment to this is the triangle of attachment. Triangle of attachment, which is attachment to temporary things bound by time. Now, what it does to us makes resistance. It makes us resist to things, right? Makes us judgmental. And then on this side, gives us material intelligence and creates past and future. It removes us from the present. We lose the beauty of the present, which is a gift, right? Right? You say past is history, future is not here yet. Present is a now is a gift. That's why they call him present. That's the saying, right? So here the same. Now here when we are when we are in a triangle of attachment, there is attachment in the middle. We get sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, and intellect from it. So we have resistance, we have judgment, and we have attachment to temporary things. These are all temporary, by the way. And we get material intelligence, and we create past and future. The past and future is the creation of the ego. There's no past and present. Every time is here and now. There's no present, there's no past. I'm sorry, there's no past, no future. There's always present, always here and now. So the past and future are the invention of the mind, of the ego. If you have no ego, you don't have present, you don't have future. You don't think about future. You plan for it, but you're not going to the future. Sometimes we get pulled into the present, or I'm sorry, into the past or future, and that's when we are not in the present. All right. So that is for that. Now this one is a triangle of detachment. So we are detaching ourselves from that stuff in the core. We get nothingness in the core. Sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, and intellect and intelligence come from nothingness. And now what it brings us patience and abstinence. It brings patience and abstinence. Be abstinent from the stuff which brings those things to the core. It brings of gratitude and abstinence again. And then here we get spiritual intelligence. On the other one, we had material intelligence. We have spiritual intelligence here, and we have eternal present. We get out of future and past. We come to the present, stay there eternally. Beauty of this. Beautiful. The people who are spiritual are present. When you talk to them, they give you 100% of their attention. They're with you right there. When you talk to egotistical individuals, they're here. They're either in the past or in the future. They don't pay attention to you really. You don't exist for them. Detachment from temporary things. That's triangle of detachment. Now the next one is uh, the triangle of adoration. You have adoration at the bottom, grace of the God, grace of God, grace of the universe. You have that, and you have attraction. You're attracted to beauty and light, and nothingness in the middle, in the core. Sense of security, guidance, power, intellect, and intelligence come from nothingness. This is the myth of egoic mind. Please make sure you understand this because it's going to help you. Listen, please, carefully. That's why I go through this every time because these are important. The myth of egoic mind. Okay, the myth of egoic mind. Let's see here. We already talked about this triangle before, right? Attachment to temporary thing, attachment in here, security, guidance, power, intellect, and intelligence comes from there. We have resistance and judgment. Now look at here. What happens? We have past and future because we are attached. Now we have we. This is the egoic, the individual who is in the myth of egoic mind is creating obstacles and looking for them. The ego, it creates obstacles and look for them. If it doesn't exist, it makes one. That's the ego, creating problem and looking for them. If there is no problem, it creates one because that's how ego exists with problems and obstacles. It creates enemies and looking for them. If there is none, the ego makes one because that's how it exists, how it can keep going. Now, this is the truth of of being human. That's where we want to go. That's our goal here. Detachment and returning to this moment, to the present. You have nothingness at the core, security, guidance, power, intellect comes from nothingness. Here you go. You have patience and abstinence. We didn't talk about that. You have gratitude and abstinence. You have a spiritual intelligence. You are in internal present. You have joy without a cause and enthusiasm for creation, ability to create. That's the truth of human being. Okay. Now we went through this. Now let's go where we stopped last time. Okay. By the way, don't worry about it. If you read Rumi, you can start anywhere. Anywhere. Rumi is like a river. You put your foot in the river. Any step, any place in the river, you feel good. You get you get something out of it. You drink from it. It gives you it. You know, it makes you feel good. Um, so here you go. همچو مستی کو جنایت ها کند گوید او معذور بودم من ز خود. It is like the case of the drunken man who commits sins and say, I will excuse from responsibility for myself. So this is about people who who are egotistical and full of ego, and they do wrong things, and they say, I didn't know what I was doing. I was not aware of what I was doing. And here Rumi answers them, says, you are like a drunken man, and you're telling that I was excused from responsibility for myself. If I did something wrong, I was a drunkard. And then he answers here. This is the excuse, right? This is Rumi answer. گویدش لیکن سبب ای زشتکار از تو بود در رفتن آن اختیار. What says the other to him? The cause of your sin consisting in the loss of that power uh, to choose proceeded from you, O evildoer. You were the one who let go of your choices. You were the one who went and became drunk by drinking. You see, that's what he says here. بی خودی نامد خود توش خواندی اختیارت خود نشد توش راندی. Your senselessness did not come of itself. You invited it. Your power to choose did not go of itself. You drove it away. So it says you are responsible. We are responsible for our actions. We cannot say, oh, I was forced to do this. I didn't know what I was doing. I was drunk and I did some stupid thing. No, it says you're responsible for it. That's what Rumi says here. This is the explanation. The clever, worldly, smart one is like a drunk person. That's what Rumi says. Egotistical person is drunk. He's drunk with his ego and attachment. This is not drunk with alcohol, by the way, but he uses uh, that analogy to make us understand. He is drunk with the fake worldly power. He is drunk with his fantasy of perfection. That's a very important word in Rumi. Rumi says egotistical people have a fantasy of perfection. They think they're perfect and believes he is perfect and complete. This is like a drunk who commits a crime, and when they ask him why, You killed another person. Say if he committed killing, he says, "I'm excused because I was drunk, and it was not my fault." Therefore, the drunkenness of the egoic mind, who is clever, harms everybody, and when they get caught and red-handed, they claim that they were angry and were not responsible for their actions. Let me ask you a question. In your judgment, is this an acceptable excuse? Is it acceptable that you don't accept responsibility and harm yourself and others and say that I am not responsible for my actions? The others will tell him, "You evildoer, you had the free will to not drink. So we are in the same situation. We have the power and free will and choice of not attaching to things and expand our heart and open the space within us. So we can, so this is what Rumi says here. We can we have the power and free will to not attach and expand our heart around events and open the space around them. The other will tell us you had the choice and you choose to abandon it. The free choice is now in our power. You don't use this power and instead of opening the space within, you close it. You bring a new attachment to your core and became drunk with it. We are drunk with our worldly attachments. The clever ones are drunken with things and destroy like drunk individuals. What life and society does not approve, right? So if we have attachments in our core, we get drunk with it. We're drunken. We act like a drunk person. Oh, I have this, I have that, I have, a lot of money, I have a lot of this, I have a lot of that. Therefore, if you did not accept responsibility and claim that you had abandoned your free will and choice, you should accept the responsibility. I am responsible for the quality of my intelligence, for my spiritual status. That's what it says here. If I get angry, get hurt, complain, these are all my faults. If you accept responsibility, you're among the lovers. And if you don't, you're among the clever ones. He's distinguishing Rumi here between the clever ones and the lovers. If you are clever, you destroy the world and yourself. If you are a lover, you make the world better for yourself and others. These are the definitions and attributes of clever ones versus the lovers. هر که را this is okay. By the way, when I read a poem, I have uh, the address here at the bottom. Like this one was book 5, verse 4104, 4105, book 5, 4106, book 5, 4107. You can write this and or you can go to the recording and go and check it for yourself. And if you like to uh, research it further, you can do it. هر که را فتح و ظفر پیغام داد، پیش او یک شد مراد و بی مراد. To whomsoever he, God, has announced victory and triumph, to him success and failures are the same. Because God has given, uh, if you are listening to Rumi and doing what he does, what he tells us to do, he's telling us you're going to be triumphant. So don't worry about small success and failures, because it doesn't matter really. هر که پایندان وی شد وصل یار، او چه ترسد از شکست و کارزار. To whomsoever the favor of the friend has become a surety, what fear should he have of defeat and painful combat? چون یقین گشتش که خواهد کرد مات، فوت اسب و پیل هستش ترهات. When it has become certain to him that he will checkmate his opponent, the love of his horse, knight, and elephant bishop is trivial to him. This the first is very important. The first verse, which is this one, this one. To whomsoever he God has announced victory and triumph, to him success and failure are the same. The first is very important. It indicates that if one is connected to the source and opens his heart and accept the wisdom of the open space, he will be victorious and triumphant. Triumphant. That's what Rumi says. It's promised because he is using the major intellect, which is the intellect of the universe, and has abandoned the egoic mind. Therefore, losing attachment does not bother him. Success and failure are the same for him. This is success and failure, by the way, in worldly matters. These words can show us if we are a lover or a clever one. It shows us the difference. If you look at this, you can figure out if you're a lover or a clever one. Victory and triumph means connection to life and using its intellect and intelligence and his love. If you are among the clever ones, we should not despair and lose hope. We need to work more. Otherwise, unfortunate events will happen in our life and we will face failure. For you, success and failure should be the same and don't get you out of life balance. See, these are the formulas that work every time. Every time. It's foolproof. Look, if you're so certain about your final triumph, these small success and failures don't won't bother you. Whoever God has given assurance that he will be victorious will not be afraid of hard work or failure. He keeps working. Sometimes he succeeds and sometimes he fails. This is in spiritual matters. If you're trying hard and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and sometimes you don't make it, don't let it uh, discourage, because you'll be victorious at the end. But for him, both is the same because we are connected to the wisdom of life. In truth, the real success is the one that we obtain from the life intellect and its management, not based on our egoic mind. It's all between choosing between egoic mind and life intellect or major intellect, Rumi calls it. Now you look at yourself and find out if you are under the influence of egoic mind or not. Are you connected to life and success are you connected to life and success and failure is the same for you? With these three verses, you can find out if you belong to the group of lovers or clever ones. For lovers, success and failure is the same. Victory and triumph mean expansion of hearts and opening a space around events. Now, when we talk about opening space around events, it means that if an event happens, don't worry about the event is you like or you dislike the event. You worry about opening the space around the event. Well, Rumi says the event came, the universe came, brought you the event, so teach you to open the space. Don't don't focus on the desirability or on the desirability of the event. Focus on the space around the event. That's what Rumi says. Let's read a story about Joseph in Masnavi. Joseph is the prophet, yeah. Joseph. Farsi, we say Yusuf. Let us read a story about Joseph in Masnavi, which is about lovers and clever ones, and also the reason and goal of our creation and our temporary stay in this world. The clever ones who operate from their ego, they with their bad vibes misguide us, not with their word, but also with their vibes. That's what it says. The clever ones can mislead us, misguide us with their vibes. The story goes like this. Let's assume that life or God tells you, when you travel to the world, you need to bring me a gift. And you contemplate that what kind of gift should I bring? Ultimately, you decide to bring a mirror, which is your pure heart. And when God looks in the mirror, he sees himself and remembers you. This is the reason for us to come to this world. Therefore, we did not come to gather more materialistic and worldly stuff, but to make a mirror from our heart. So this is a story from Masnavi. Let me explain a little bit here. This is Masnavi says, uh, Prophet Joseph. Yeah, somebody told him. Somebody said, "I'm going to travel. I'm going to go somewhere. What do you want to bring you?" And he says, "Whatever." And then he goes. The traveler goes. The friend of Joseph goes to the traveler and thinks what to bring to Joseph. And Joseph was the king of Egypt. He had everything, and he says, "What I bring him?" And Joseph who is known for being handsome, and he says, "What I bring him?" He said, "The best thing I can bring him is a mirror, so he can look at himself." And he is he looks at himself and he sees his beauty. That's the best thing I can do for him. He's such a beautiful person that I want him to look at to see himself. So now Rumi says Joseph is analogy of God. God tells us, "I have everything. I don't need anything from you. I don't need anything from us. What we can bring to God. We have not much, right? And whatever we bring, He already has." So Rumi says, what you can bring to Him that makes Him happy, bring Him a mirror. A mirror makes Him happy because you in mirror He looks at himself or herself. Okay, now so the mirror in us that we can give to God, that can bring as a gift from a journey, from a travel to God, is our heart. If we purify our heart, so it becomes, it's like Rumi says, the heart is being dirtied with our bad actions. Make it make it nice, make it beautiful, and polish it. That's the word. Say ghali kon, say ghali kon, say ghali. Say ghali means polish. Polish your heart. Before in old times there was no mirror like today. So what they did, they used to polish the metals so they can see their face. That's how they made a mirror. Rumi says, polish your heart, purify your heart, cleanse it, so God can see his beautiful face in the mirror of your heart, and that makes him happy. آینه آوردمت ای روشنی تا چو بینی روی خود یادم کنی. I have brought you a mirror, O light of my eyes, so that when you see your face, then you may think of me. So it's, oh, this person, oh, Beta brought me the mirror. God looks at his Beta's heart. Oh, Beta brought me the mirror. Oh, thank you, Beta. Thank you for your mirror. Thank you for your pure heart. That's what it says here, Rumi. So this is what we can bring to God. The gift that we can bring to God is our heart, which is like a mirror. That's what Rumi says. آینه بیرون کشید او از بغل خوب را آینه باشد مشتغل. He drew out the mirror from beneath his arm. The fair one's business is with the mirror. Beautiful people look at the mirror, right? You see, beautiful ladies always look in the mirror because they want to see their beautiful face. آینه هستی چه باشد؟ نیستی. نیستی بر گر تو ابله نیستی. What is the mirror of being? Not being. Bring not being as your gift if you're not a fool. So Rumi here says if you want to bring a gift to God, bring not being, right? Bring not being. Not being is a mirror for a being. And if you're not a fool, that's what you need to bring as a gift. I have brought you a mirror, O light, O you who are from light, so that when you see your face, then you may think of me. I explained that to you, right? So these verses show us if we are lover or clever. Are you making a mirror so God can see himself in it? You say to God, yes, I brought you a gift. You bring out the mirror from your jacket pocket and show it to God because you want him to remember you. But like clever ones, we have kept our attachments and we ask God to increase our attachment. This is wrong. And this is the mistake that clever ones makes every moment. So the clever ones, what they're doing, they are dirtying the mirror of their heart So they cannot take it as a gift. Any attachment we put in our core is a dirt on a mirror. That's what it is. It's dirt in a mirror, is a spot on a mirror. The only way we can help, the only way life can help us is when we convert our heart to mirror, meaning we keep no attachment in our core. Of course, the clever one says, God's remembrance is not useful for me. I just want to increase my attachment so I can show off. From an egoic mind, this makes sense, but we need to view it from another angle and find out the reason we came to this temporary world, and we will not be here forever. We are here for few years and limited time, and nobody stays here forever. So you see, now Rumi says, wanting things is okay, and ego is a wanting machine. It wants more. Wants It's a wanting machine. I want this. I want that. I want more of this. More. But Rumi says wanting is okay. To want things is okay, but the nafs, the ego, wants low stuff. He doesn't. He says you don't want no, you don't want to go for low things. Go for higher things. So this act of wanting is okay, but what we're wanting now, we're wanting small things. Yeah, right. Uh, Things which are not valuable, invaluable things. He said, want something which is valuable, which you deserve to have, which is God, which is the spirit, which is the highest of the high. Go for the highest. Don't go for low stuff. Don't go for small stuff. Go for big ones. So that's what Rumi says. It's okay to want, but don't want these small things. Want a big thing, big stuff. What things are worthy of you as a king? You're a king. You're a queen. Ask for something big. Ask for himself. We say in Farsi, چون که 100 آید 90 هم پیش ماست. When we have 100, then 90 is with us too. And God is the 100%. Go for the 100%. Don't ask for, don't, don't uh, go for the small items like this, like money, this, that. Go for the big one, which is God itself. Therefore, we understand that we need to make mirror, which is our core, without any attachment. So you take out the mirror from your jacket pocket and give it to God. And since God is beautiful and pretty ladies are always checking themselves in the mirror, God is always looking in the mirror and remembers you. You know? Wow. The Rumi indicates that what is the mirror of being, not being. Please pay attention to the meaning of not being. The clever ones always have being. They want to show off and get attention, get noticed. They always show off their belongings, their social status, and their knowledge. Rumi says, what is the mirror of being? What is the mirror of God? Since God is the real being, our not being is his mirror. So we have to be not being to become the mirror of God, which is being. Therefore, we have to practice not being, means giving up our minor intellect and getting rid of attachments. آینه هستی چه باشد؟ نیستی. نیستی بر گر تو ابله نیستی. What is the mirror of being, not being? Bring not being as your gift if you're not a fool. So we have to bring not being. That's what God is telling us, right? To bring not being, we need to expand our heart and open a space around the events and become from the essence of the open space. At the same time, if we recognize your attachment, if you recognize your attachments, you bring not being and you're not intelligent in your mind. A going mind is dumb and stupid. We always raise and show off as I. This showing off, this raising as I, is talking about this in this uh, uh, desire of being noticed. These are all from ego. هر که نفس خیش را دید و شناخت اندر استکمال خود ده اسب تاخت. Whoever has seen and recognized his own deficiency hath charged with 10 horses, made rapid progress in perfecting himself. Book 1, verse 32-12. This is what is our deficiency? The main deficiency is the ego, because ego is deficient and destructive and harmful and poisonous. So everybody, if we understand our ego, we would stop. We would make progress in perfecting ourselves, meaning which minimizing it. Why cannot we see our deficiency? Because we have fantasy of perfection. That's a big word in Rumi. Fantasy of perfection. The clever one has the fantasy of perfection. If the clever one confesses that he thinks he's perfect, he or she thinks he's perfect, he or she's perfect. If the clever one confesses to his deficiency, is not the absence of fantasy of perfection, I'm sorry, but he believes he has not accumulated enough attachment. So the if the clever ones, if they say, "Oh, I'm not complete, I'm deficient," it's not deficiency about ego. It says, "Oh, I didn't have enough attachment. I don't have bought the house that I want to have. I don't have enough money. You know, my goal is to have this amount of money. I don't have that much." So that's what it is. It's uh, deficiency in things, not deficiency in the structure of the ego. The real deficiency is our egoic mind and or our attachments or our pains. Whoever sees his own deficiency and tries to eliminate it is among lovers. Otherwise, he's clever. نقصها آینه وصف کمال وان حقارت آینه از عز و جلال. نقصها آینه وصف کمال وان حقارت آینه عز و جلال. Defects are the mirror. Defects are the mirror of the equality of perfection, and that wickedness is the mirror of power and glory. If one sees his defects, he opens the space and expands his heart. When you accept your defects, then God will show his perfection in eliminating them. علتی بدتر ز پندار کمال نیست اندر جان تو ای زودلال. This is beautiful. There is no worse disease in your soul, O arrogant one, than the fantasy of perfection. That's Rumi. There's nothing worse than the fantasy of perfection, he says. از دل و از دیده ات بس خون رود تا ز تو این معجبی بیرون رود. Much blood must flow from your heart and eye, that cockiness, self-importance may go out of you. This fantasy of perfection may go out of you. Whoever has the disease of fantasy of perfection and thinks that there is nothing wrong with his situation is the worldly clever one. Whoever sees his disease, all right, people are dropping. I think it's getting a little bit late, so let's start here. Let's stop here, I think, because I guess it's getting 11 o'clock in East Coast, which I'm right now. So let's just stop here. Erika and Beta. Beta is she's in, Margaret is in New York. Beta is in West Coast. So let me see who is here. Leora is here too. All right. So I think this is good. The material is very packed, by the way. I know that. And thank you. Good night. Okay, Leora is going to. Um, I know it's a lot of material, and you know, I'm going to put this on internet on the mm, YouTube. So if you need to go over it again, do that, please. And because especially at the beginning, because you're not familiar with his vocabulary, and it takes a long time. I'm telling you, I've been exposed to this since my youth, and I still learn every day something new. So it is it's a it takes repetition. So I think we should stop here and appreciate for your presence and for coming over. This is the most important thing. My dad used to tell us this is what we're here for. This is our goal in life. To this the the way to salvation is through these poems. I'm telling you, and these teachings. And Rumi is the best one, by the way, one of the best, if you can say. He put them all together. He was such a beautiful soul. He put them all together and give us a gift, which is he used to he says somewhere else. He says in Rifia Mafi, he says, I have a bucket. I take it to the other side. I make it full of water and bring it over to the other side. This comes from the other side, and he was connected to the source, and he's connecting us to the source. So we are lucky to have exposure to this. I hope get get yourself get yourself uh, exposure to this material wherever you can. Yeah, anywhere it's okay. You don't have to come here. I'm telling you, anywhere. I try my best to express it and to translate as the best I can. But it's very hard to translate this material. But just get it everywhere you can, because these are really help us uh, to get out of this the whole of egoic mind. It's a hole. It's a trap. We are in a trap. Rumi says we are in sleep of the ego, and we have to wake up. This is awakening, really. It is awakening. So, any questions, comments, concern, please? Is there anything you want to say?
Thank you so much. It's a lovely poem.
Thank you,
Uh,
Erika.
Oh, that was
at the
very
same
good.
time,
Thank you.
Thank you.
there is
Thank you. Thank you so
wisdom.
much.
There is wisdom in every triangle. Maybe we can learn every figure, because I think we can learn a lot in every triangle.
Yeah.
And I would like to delve into each of them, maybe.
Yeah, you can go. God willing, I'm gonna post it to YouTube. Please go back and look at it.
Mm,
You can take a picture and look. Yeah, it is very. I get it from somebody. I bought it from another Sufi teacher, but it's very good stuff. The material comes from Sufis, Rumi and others, but the exhibitions are the modern way of looking at it. They didn't do it old days, but now we're doing it. So hopefully, you can go back and look at it, take a picture, and investigate it, because the more you think about it, the more you learn from it.
thank you so much, Habka.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you. By the way, where are you located, Erika? East Coast or West
Uh,
Coast?
I'm in Mexico, but
Oh, is that
I live
right?
in Saga.
So you're in the West, like you're Pacific time, right?
Yes.
Like it's 8:09 p.m. right now, correct?
Now in Mexico it's 9 p.m.
Oh, it's 9 p.m. Okay, so you're yeah, good. Okay, good.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hope to see you again.
Yeah.
All right, Margaret, I'm happy that you made it to the end, huh?
Yes, I am too.
Well, did you enjoy it?
I did. I
Okay,
did.
you can go back, and if the material gets a little bit uh, overwhelming, I understand, because it's a lot of stuff. But you can go back and read it again, and go to the poems and reread them. It's all in the internet. You can find them.
Mhm.
There's different translations, but you can go back and look at them and see and reread them. It's a lot of repetition. I'm telling you, it's not one time is not going to do it. Takes time, but don't get discouraged, please. Just keep going, get going, get going. Let me tell you something, my guy. This is the best material out there. I don't see anything better than this. If I knew, I would bring it to you guys. This is the best of the best. And I'm not the only one saying that. I mean, masters of Sufism telling us the Rumi said it all in very beautiful way. His language skill is just amazing. He said it very nicely in his stories, tried to make it entertaining for us, easy to understand, and you'll see. The more you learn, the better you understand it, and the more better person you become,
Mhm.
which we need these days, right? Good people
Yes,
like you. God bless you guys all.
thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.